Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy, and glad to be here with you guys on this beautiful Tuesday. Can you believe August is almost over? I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they were talking about a date in early September, and I said, "Oh, that's a ways away," and they were like, "No, that's like in the next 2 weeks," and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I did not realize that." Well, yes, I do have another wonderful show for your viewing and listening pleasure this evening. I deem today Give Back Tuesday. Our entire show tonight is all about giving back to people in various ways, whether it's through community service, whether it's through civic or civil engagement, as well as how you can spend a little money and have a great time as well, too. It's all about giving back this Tuesday. So I want to give you guys a real quick weather report. Today, we reached 87 degrees here in the Chicagoland area, but the next 2 days are going to be the hottest 2 days here in Chicago that we've had in a while. It should reach the mid-90s. So I want to remind everyone to please make sure you have air conditioning. Make sure you check on the elderly. Make sure you check on your pets. Also, please make sure you do not leave any children in vehicles. It's going to be extremely hot. And when people go 2 to 3 days without proper air conditioning or brake fans or whatever the case may be, it can be a little hazardous to their health. And we want to make sure everybody is well and healthy during this global pandemic. Just in case you guys have forgotten, we're still in the midst of a global pandemic. All right, well, let's get this party started tonight. My co-host is no stranger here to the Real Chat Daddy Show. She actually made a note today that she's been a co-host at least once a month for the last 3 months. Now, I hope she does not ask for any compensation. I hope I don't have to give her a retirement plan, any of that. But whenever she's here, we always have a wonderful time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Renaissance woman, humanitarian, fabulous singer. And guess what? She has a hairstyle that has a personality all its own. I'm just telling y'all, I am. Welcome back to the show. My girl and yours, the one and only Miss Dionne Nicole Smith. Hello, darling.
Hi there. How are you?
I actually, how are you this evening?
I'm hoping that you can hear me because as soon as you started talking, for some reason, the reception started getting very crazy. So I really hope that you can hear me. Yeah, I'm connected to my network. Okay, as long as you hear me, hopefully it's not too much of a disconnect when I hear you. So
no, not at all. Can you hear me, my dear?
I can hear you better now. For some reason, it was a little crazy initially, but I'm trying to do a lot of things tonight with you. I'm trying to make sure that I am present, but also share some information later, and you'll get to that.
Yeah, I know. Today is Give Back Tuesday, and when I decided to have you as co-host this evening, not only is your amazing organization a great organization, but an organization that I belong to, ADA 25 Advancing Leadership, is another amazing organization. And today was the kickoff of my PSA for them to try to recruit people to be a part of the ADA 25 Advancing Leadership. And so tonight, coming up on the show, you'll meet some of my fellows and ambassadors. And tonight we'll talk about why you may want to be a part of this amazing organization. And for those of you all that have not checked out the video yet, please go to all my social media platforms. And I am explaining a way of why I am so proud of being a fellow and an ambassador for ADA 25 Advancing Leadership. All right. So, darling, what have you been up to? How you been? The hair is looking amazing as always. And then those earrings are hot too.
I have to represent, and I know Kelly is going to be excited. You probably know her, Kelly Mosley. She goes by K-Fly.
Yes.
And I absolutely love her jewelry. I think she has the most fabulous jewelry. And, it's always so important for us to try to support our own. And Kelly, I connected with her a few years ago and brought her into whole Black Harvest Film Festival when I did the marketplace then. And I just love her because they're light. They're beautiful. They're creative. They're leather, and I love that. And they're just cool. So these are new. So I'm
Really?
gonna tag Kelly and say, K Fly, you got to go get yourself some K Fly.
Yeah, well, you look fly tonight. You really do look dope. How have you been navigating your way through this pandemic? Each and every month when you join us, we've kind of done an update. We've kind of talked about what we've been through. You've been feverishly, still going into the office and, working remotely as well. How's everything been going for you since this whole pandemic has started?
I think it's almost strange that every time I get with you, and it's been, consistently 3 months in a row, and every
I
time
don't owe you a check, do I? I don't owe you a check, do I? I'll kindly pay you next Wednesday if I owe you a check. You're just such a great co-host. I don't ever want to lose you, Yeah.
No, I love you. I'll do anything for you. But I just think it's almost surreal that every time that I connect with you, there's always some kind of incident that's happened right when I connect with you, which is just strange to me. And it makes me sad, but I will say, because you asked me how am I doing, I try to maintain a sense of positivity and a sense of optimism. And I say you have to fight for your joy in the midst of this existence. And so I choose to stay positive regardless of what is going on in this society. I choose to stay positive, and it's not easy. It definitely isn't easy, but I choose that. That's the road I choose because someone, and I can't remember, and maybe it was you, maybe it was somebody else, I don't remember. Someone said the other day that each day is the best day of your life. And it may have been comedian Dionne Cole, because I listen. That's part of what brings me joy is doing his Sunday Disco Fellowship or Disco Sunday Fellowship dance party every Sunday, 1 o'clock Central. He's like 11 o'clock a.m. But I do that because it brings me joy.
Yes.
And in this day and age, with everything that's going on, we have to fight for joy every step of the way. So I keep, as much work as I have to do, and it's good work, but we have to fight for joy. And I appreciate just interacting and being a part of my church community as well. And, we do our virtual services. So I'm back singing because I wanted to help my sisters in the ministry because they're holding it down. There's nobody coming. We're doing virtual. So I said, okay, I normally would be here, but I didn't really realize that it was just them. And so I said, I have to at least join. I have to at least come and use my voice. God gave me this gift, so let me use my voice. So that's, honestly, I get so tired about talking about negative, although we've got to talk about it. Because we have to keep reminding people of what's going on and that they cannot sit down. They have to continuously fight.
Yes. Well, we normally start off with the COVID update numbers, but I do want to take a few moments to recognize Mr. Jacob Blake of Kenosha, Wisconsin. And Sunday afternoon, like many of you, I'm on social media. Social media breaks the news before the major outlets nowadays. I saw the situation firsthand on, Facebook. And so now this young man, the doctors are reporting, his dad did an update that he is now paralyzed from the waist down. It would take a miracle for this young man to walk again. If you guys have been under a rock, he was shot 7 times on Sunday afternoon by a Kenosha, Wisconsin police officer, 7 times in his back. His 2 children were in the car. One of his children was celebrating his or her 8th birthday. And so again, we have witnessed another Black man's, and he's not dead, but I consider this a demise for the simple reason is this young man is now paralyzed. The young man who we saw walking to the car is now paralyzed unless a miracle happens and does, something to help his situation. And Dionne, as you said, every time you're here on this show with me, it's on the heels of something horrific that has happened in our country and to yet another Black man or Black woman. What is your take on all of this?
Because I'm tired of hearing justification constantly, time after time. I'm tired of hearing the justification for wrong, for evil. I'm tired of hearing about it. You can say a million things, and you're going to. I'm not in control of what somebody thinks, what they feel, because what they feel is what they feel. I can't do anything about it. But taking all of the other minutia out of the conversation, right and wrong. Right and wrong. If somebody's walking away from you, why are they a threat? Walking away. Take every kind of point of argument out of it. A human being, a man, take ethnicity out of it, was walking away from you. You pulled his shirt. He was walking away from you. He wasn't turned around trying to charge you. He wasn't doing anything other than walking away from you. We don't know what happened before, and it doesn't matter what happened before. He was walking away. Where is the taser? If there was actual threat, he was walking away from you.
Well, now, Dionne, I am going to play the devil's advocate a little bit because we said this yesterday. In this day and age, as a Black man, if I'm involved in anything that is dealing with the police, I'm going to keep my Black behind standing in place until somebody says this situation has been dismissed. For the simple reason is I've seen this so many times now. My anxiety, as we always say on this show, is on 1,000 behind me ever being stopped by the police, questioned by the police, any of that. So I do digress back to what you're saying. I get it. But then again, I'm going to play Mr. Freeze. I'm not moving. I'm not going to move.
But isn't that what we've been taught, which is sad, right? Isn't that what Black men or Black people a lot of times have been taught about? If someone approaches you, stay in your car, stay in place. And we don't really know, but what we have been, the story that is out there from a witness was that he actually stopped to help break up an argument, right?
Yeah.
That is the story that we have been told based on a witness who was on camera saying, who was trying to hide his identity, but he was speaking about the fact that this particular person was breaking up. If that is the case, no justification, right? If that's not the case, just point blank, he was walking away. Walking away.
Right.
Regardless, he was walking away. And I just look at, someone who may be listening, someone who may be hearing. If this happened to you, you don't have to look like me. But you're a human being. That's the bottom line. As a human being, would you want to be treated this way?
Yes.
Would you want your mother, your sister, your brother, your father, anyone to be treated this way? As you continuously like to argue against right and wrong, would you want to be treated this way? As a human being, we have to constantly keep arguing about and standing up about our humanity. We have to still keep telling people we're human. You just don't want to look at us as human. You always want to have an excuse about basic humanity.
Yes.
There's no justification, period.
No. Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll address that issue more down the road. Want to get into tonight's news show. As you guys all know, we always start the show off by giving the latest COVID-19 updates. As of today, Tuesday, Illinois state health officials announced 1,608 280 new confirmed COVID-19 cases here in the state, as well as we had 29 additional fatalities. This brings the total number of reported cases here in the state of Illinois to 223,470 cases, with a total fatality number of now being 7,917. And last night it was 7,888, because I said I need to play that in the lottery tomorrow. Not that I'm trying to win any money on the death of people, but just for those numbers to pop up like that. I was like, oh wow, you know. And so that's crazy. The latest numbers, right? And so as of today, Governor Pritzker has put a crackdown on bars, restaurants, and casinos. He is saying that anybody who interacts with a wait staff and or an employee in a food or beverage establishment, that's whether at the table or picking up a carryout order, you must wear your mask, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the rule was as long as you made it to the table in the restaurant, you could take your mask off. Well, now if you're ordering from the waiter, waitress, whoever the case, the bartender, whatever the case may be. Look, I got my cocktail mask. Little cocktail. That's for the segment later on. That's for the segment later on tonight. So the governor is now requiring that. Hill and Key County, which is just south of Illinois, south of Illinois, south of Chicago.
It's like I hear you, but I don't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. For some reason, it was all jumbling for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, it's the Wi-Fi oftentimes. So we'll now the number of Americans diagnosed with coronavirus is actually falling. The average, about 43,000 new cases have been reported daily over the past 2 weeks across the country. This is down 21% since early August. Can you still hear me, Dionne?
I can hear you now.
Okay, very good. So now the only place where the count is really high is still in India and Brazil, and they have the highest number of cases in the world. And the trend is here in the United States is encouraging that we might be finally, curtailing this quite a bit. And do you think it's because people have been wearing their masks, or do you think it's because they've been sanitizing, doing the right things? What do you think it is?
I hope that more people have common sense about what's going on right now, because I still feel like people aren't taking this seriously. I still feel like people are missing the mark. I feel like they're missing the mark, that they are still thinking it's a joke. And when, a lot of us know people who have passed away, and, I don't want to put it out there, but one of my dear friends' mothers just passed away last month.
Oh,
and that broke my heart. And it was completely avoidable, and it didn't have to happen, but yet she's gone.
No.
And it happened in less than a month. And it just broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I think there are too many people out here right now that are still not taking it seriously. Although I appreciate the fact that I see more and more masks. I do, because that's what they keep saying. And I go back, I mentioned this last month. I go back to those images that you see from the pandemic in 1919 or whatever.
Yeah.
You see those images of people in masks. So if you saw that way back when, then don't you think we should be doing the same thing? I don't care how much we have advanced. We haven't, right? If something as simple as a mask, right, is still helping us,
right,
then we really have not advanced that far, have we? If it's still not that simple.
They're not the cutest thing to wear all the time either, No,
I know. Trust. When you think about it, You feel like you really are in a sci-fi film, right? You
Oh
really
yeah,
do. You feel
yeah,
like you are
yeah,
part of a movie. You're living a surreal life. But I think that's the reason why we have to have that mindset of fighting for joy, because it
yeah.
broke my heart to see 177,000 deaths in the US. 177,000, probably 178,000 right now.
Right.
But just, I think, and I think this person just popped up. Is it Ina or Ina? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Saying that she thinks some states are withholding their true COVID numbers. I think she's completely right.
Right.
I think she's totally right. And it's ridiculous that this has to be some kind of political statement or some kind of tool. I think that's horrible. It's horrible
Right.
because we're talking about people's lives. And the
Hmm.
fact that there's so many people that have died, that is 178,000 individuals who were important.
Yeah.
Somebody cared about them.
Yes.
Every life mattered. Every life was valuable to someone. So the fact that people even want to look at it as a number, like it doesn't affect them, I didn't have to know these people to care. They're
Hmm.
not here anymore.
Right.
And it just, I don't know.
And the number is just stagnating. It really is. Like you
Yeah.
said, these are just people who were living their lives every day. And now they are a part of this pandemic that none of us had any idea was coming. And I was watching one of the morning shows today, and they had a herbalist on, and this herbalist had actually been talking. He was a guest back in November or December, and he was talking about the importance of boosting your immune system, doing the right things to boost your immune system. And they had a follow-up with this doctor today. And they're saying that people who actually have fared well in this have learned to boost their immune system. Have you been doing anything to boost your immune system?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure, and I think we may have touched on this. I had already been, my doctor had prescribed me to take some vitamin D, B12, and I need to go ahead and get some more fish oils and some more vitamin C. But I definitely think that natural vitamins, looking at healthy foods as well, like carrots and green, green vegetables and the spinaches and the zucchinis and the broccolis, all of that good stuff.
Pigmented fruits and vegetables. Right.
Right. And the salmons, all of that I totally think helps. I mean, heck, I just bought some dandelion root tea and I've just started to drink that.
Okay.
I heard that was good for balanced digestion, for that, that help cleaning out your system. And I have been picking up on that. And I said, okay, I think I need to purchase some of this. And it has people who are trying to get off of coffee and caffeine, I guess, use that as a way because it's dark and it's earthy and it has that nuttiness. So
really? I didn't know that.
I was actually surprised because I love tea, and because I'm not a coffee drinker, I really was hoping, because I purchased a lot of boxes because it was more frugal. And so I prayed that I could actually drink this tea, because I said, this is cheaper to purchase all these boxes than purchase one individual box. So let me just pray I can drink this tea. And
all right. I'm sure I'll be getting a gift basket with this tea in it, right?
Yeah, you will. I was gonna say I would be happy to give you a box because I was surprised that I can drink it. So I drink it now. I just put like a teaspoon or two of agave in it just to help me a little bit, just a little sweetness. But it definitely has that dark, when you sniff it, it makes you feel like you're getting healthier, to be honest with you, because of the darkness of it. But definitely try it. So I would advise anybody, if you're doing, I don't care if you're doing something small, just do something.
Yes, amen. I couldn't agree with you more. Well, last night was the first night of the 2020 Republican National Convention. I actually want to give you guys the numbers. It actually drew 15.8 million viewers across 6 networks, a significant fall off from the 18.7 million viewers who tuned into the Democratic National Convention's first night events and all of that great stuff. Black Twitter was a buzz all last night and today. They were talking about Georgia State Senator Vernon Jones, former football player Herschel Walker, and Senator Tim Scott. And so the trending word was Uncle Tom, all on Black Twitter. And so why is it? I don't even know which direction to take this in, because we have our other guests in just a little bit, and we may have to have this as a whole separate show.
Exactly.
But we live in a world where people can be who they want to be and live how you want to live. But for some reason, we are not feeling Blacks who are Trump supporters. Why is that, Dionne?
Wow. Where do I start, my friend?
So keep in mind, we have guests coming up in just a minute. All right.
I know. So I'll just say this, and I'm going to keep it classy. I'm going to keep it above board, because I don't have a reason to sink to certain levels. I don't. It boils down to right versus wrong, sanity versus insanity. Simple as that. To me, there is something truly wrong if you cannot look at what's been going on in this country and who is in office and who continuously tells false truths constantly, who never wants to take responsibility for his actions, and you decide that you want to support someone like this, who very vocal about his ignorance and the way that he feels about certain populations of people. And if I don't need to say anything other than just go and view videos on any platform, go follow his Twitter feed, go follow this, go follow that. And I don't know why you're supporting him. Is it for money? Is it because you want your name out there? But it makes me scratch my head. But it goes back to, there's always someone who is willing to go the other direction.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
There's always, since the beginning of time. Let's be real. We can go back to the biblical days. If you believe or you don't believe, since the beginning of time, you always had someone who was going to the other direction and did not want to stand up for what's right and what's true. And that's the bottom line, right? True.
Yes. Right. Well, it's what people believe. The one thing that I will say, now I did find Mr. Scott's message really interesting when he said, from cotton to Congress. I thought how powerful. I thought how powerful, because
it's true. It's true.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, not many people are able to say that and share their lineage and history and things like that. But the point of it is, I think it's who he supports and what he is standing for that most of us have a huge problem with.
Exactly. You can point that out, which is very true. But yet you don't want to think about all of the blood, sweat, and tears, all of the years of working on those plantations and what that stood for the right to vote, for the right for equal rights, human rights. You don't want to look at that piece of it. You'd rather make that a point as if it's it's a photo op, it's a tagline. You'll throw that out there, but you're not really you're not really thinking about what that actually means. Because if you did, you wouldn't be standing there at the podium supporting someone who obviously is trying to undermine all of the things that our ancestors fought for. When you have people trying to remove and strip sections of Civil Rights Act sections of government that actually protect us, just having the right to vote or making it easy for all citizens to have the right to vote. And when you have people that are stripping basic services like the post office, but yet
Yeah.
you want to stand up for this person,
Yes.
okay. To me,
Yeah.
there's something wrong there.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll wrap up news and entertainment. And we didn't do much entertainment, even though I found it to be an interesting convention last night. It's not a traditional convention. Everybody else had their conventions at locations, with no audience or social distancing, where a lot of the White House is being used for this. And so all of that is just a whole nother story. And I don't want to mix too much politics tonight because it is Give Back Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
let's focus on the positivity.
Yeah. Usa, breathe. And let's talk about your beautiful afro. Yes. All right. Yes. Good hair. Good hair. Yes. All right. All right. Well, for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. And my good friend, Miss Dionne Nicole Smith, is our very special guest co-host this evening. She's been here with us 3 times now. Every time she's here with us, we're on the heels of something major that has happened within our country. This time it is the shooting of Mr. Jacob Blake, correct, of Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's originally from Evanston, Illinois. Comes from a long lineage of people who have done amazing things in the city of Evanston. Reports are saying that he started to break up a fight between some people. It escalated. Police showed up. Next thing you know, he got shot in the back 7 times. And the city of Kenosha has been up in arms ever since, looting, rioting. There's a curfew in the city of Kenosha from 8 p.m. tonight to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I'm just asking that people please be of peace, love, and harmony. Kenosha is already a small little city. And then for you to destroy your city is just, it to me is pointless. His mom got on TV today and said her son would not want the city to be destroyed because he got shot. And we thank God he's still alive. It is being reported that he will be paralyzed from this and that only a miracle would be able to make him be able to walk again. So we'll see. And we're keeping that young man in our prayers. And we do want justice for this. All right. Well, Dionne, darling, we're going to start with our first guest this evening since it is Give Back Tuesday. And our first guest this evening, this is a personal story for me. In January of 2019, I embarked on a wonderful journey of becoming a ADA 25 Advancing Leadership Fellow.
Yay!
Graduated, yay! By the time we graduated in December of that year, I was extended the opportunity to become an ambassador, and I kind of like that. I like that title. I always thought I'd maybe be the ambassador of Barbados or the ambassador for Madrid. No, I'm the ambassador for ADA 25 Advancing Leadership. But I'll put it to you like this: it's a very proud honor, and I just don't know. I'll talk about all of that in just a little bit because I have been bragging to you about just how wonderful the program is all about. Yes,
I'm so proud of you because I had worked for Access Living before, so I was really, really proud of you when you told me.
Yes, well, thank you. Well, tonight we have 3 amazing ladies who are not only fellow ambassadors, a part of the organization, but these are 3 ladies that I really appreciate them. Whenever I have a question or a concern, they're always just an email and a phone call away. Our first guest is actually someone who I nominated to be a 2020 fellow. She began her journey advocating for health and wellness as a licensed, I can't even say it, massage therapist. I almost got tongue-tied. Following her stage 4 endometriosis diagnosis, she is the founder of Fighting Fiercely Endometriosis Awareness Movement. I've had her on my radio show many times. She actually was a co-host of this show, and I just love and adore her. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 fellow. Aha. Yeah, I know that sounds good. That's probably the most positive thing of 2020 is my good friend.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Michelle N. Johnson. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
Hey, I am great. Hi, Dionne. Hey, Art. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
How are you?
I am well. I am very well this fine Tuesday evening.
I know. It is
Yes.
a fine Tuesday evening. Believe it or not, it's the calm before the heat wave that's coming through.
I
And
heard you guys talking about that earlier today. Yeah.
yeah. And so we're excited to be here tonight. Michelle, I am just so proud of how far you've come. I am so honored that you accepted my invitation to consider being a fellow with ADA 25 Advancing Leadership. And before I introduce the other ladies, I want you to kind of just tell people a little bit about yourself that I didn't mention. And then let's bring the other ladies in and let's get this party started, because I really do want to recruit some outstanding people that want to identify and let their voices be heard. Go right ahead, Michelle.
Absolutely, Art. Thank you so much. And as you and I have talked before, when you initially invited me to become a 2020 fellow, I was very resistant. I was very hesitant because, as you mentioned before, I am someone who lives with stage 4 endometriosis. And not only is that an acquired illness and disability, it is also an invisible or non-apparent disability. And so, to be quite honest, in my mind, when you asked me about it, I had my own internalized ideas and, to be quite frankly, biases, right? And prejudices about what I thought a disabled person looked like, about who they were, how they showed up in the world. And just to be completely transparent, what I realize now is that I was operating from, number one, a place of ableism, but also from a place of othering. Right? Yeah. Disabled people was those other people, not me. I'm not disabled, right? I don't have a vision loss, or I have the use of my limbs. I don't need assistance walking. All of these stereotypes that we tend to think about when we think about people with disability. And so when you first said it to me, I was just like, I mean, yeah, I advocate for people with endometriosis, but we're not really disabled. But I said, Art is somebody that I trust. And so if he is suggesting this or recommending this, I'm just going to go ahead and see what it's all about. And I cannot thank you enough for pushing me out of my comfort zone. You mentioned before about ADA 25 Advancing Leadership being one of the positives of 2020. And I could not agree with you more. It has been a huge blessing. It has opened my eyes to so many things, not only as a person with an acquired disability, but also a Black person with an acquired disability and a Black woman with an acquired disability, about how all of those intersections matter and how they are important, not just to the individuals, but to the greater picture, to the culture at large, to the Black Lives Matter movement, right? To how we move and operate in our day-to-day lives. All of those things matter. And those are things that I had not understood nor appreciated prior to coming into ADA 25 Advancing Leadership. And it helped to remove a lot of that stigma, a lot of that misunderstanding. And it made me realize that you are a person with a disability, and that is okay. All of that othering, I realized that narrative was false. And so as someone who advocates for people, particularly Black women who are affected with endometriosis, which is an othering of itself, right? That disease is another example of how women and Black women are othered. It helped me to bridge those two, those two intersections of disability and advocating. And it taught me how to be a better advocate and how to stand in the gap for and speak for those voices that can't be heard in all of those different individual spaces, because they're all interconnected. So I owe you a huge debt of gratitude, because I was so resistant. I was just like, okay, I don't have anything else going on right now. I'm just going to go and see, what he's talking about. But I thank you so much for that, because even in this pandemic, going through that Leadership Institute and in the fellowship program, I've learned so much and gained so much. And so if it were not for you, I would still be, behind. We speak a lot about Black Lives Mattering and speaking up for those underserved and underheard communities. And before ADA 25, I did not realize that for as progressive as I thought I was being as an endometriosis advocate, I was also contributing to a lot of that negative narrative. And so I've since changed and I'm working to continue to correct that in my advocacy across all fronts.
Lovely. I love it. And I'm very proud of you from, just the many interactions that we've had. You've always been out there on the forefront. You wanted your voice to be heard, but I never felt as if you were ready to really get on that main platform. And once I nominated you for this, there you go. And you took off running. Well, let me introduce our other guest tonight. She's Alex Perez-Garcia. If I'm not mistaken, isn't she a 2020 fellow as well, too?
She is. She is one of my fellow fellows.
That's what I thought. I just know her as a great leader. She is a wonderful person. She's an impact leader who believes in the power of personal narrative, civic engagement, and working towards infusing equality in our system. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Alex Perez-Garcia. Well, Alex, how are you this evening?
Hi, how are you?
How you doing tonight?
Fun. I'm good. I saw on your Instagram that you said it is also Whiskey Sour, National Whiskey Sour Day.
It is, yeah. We'll have to get one in after the show is over. This is about business. How you doing, Alex? Look, real quick, introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you and your involvement. Then we'll bring our wonderful friend Risa in just a second.
Sounds great. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Perez-Garcia, Associate Director of Development and Communications for ADA 25 Advancing Leadership, and also, along with Michelle, a 2020 Fellow of ADA 25 Advancing Leadership. And it really is an honor to be a fellow and to be on the show and to be part of this team, having been part of the team since 2016 when the organization itself was really growing, and then having my own sort of coming out story through my participation through the Obama Foundation Community Leadership Corps, where I shared my story and my experience with mental illness on the grand stage, and really by working at this organization and working with really amazing and inspiring mentors and team members like Risa and Emily and Robin, and meeting people like Michelle, I feel like I've really come into my own identity and really tried to unpack that intersectionality between disability and mental illness and being a Latina woman, and also just trying to exist in this time, right? And so it's just been I feel really blessed to have this supportive network, not just of fellows, but also team members as well.
Yes. Well, I love you. You did a great job, and I'm very proud. And see, I didn't know. I thought you had already been a fellow. And then I looked and I said, wait a minute, she's becoming this year. And I like that. Well, last but not least is someone who I hold in high regard. Not only is she the boss lady, but I consider her a good friend as well, too. Before joining, well, actually, she was a part of the leadership program from the beginning. She is the director of civic engagement and marketing. She is a justice advocate who is seeking change by shifting to access and influence, and she is definitely that person. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Risa Jaz Rifkind. I got it. I did it. Yay, it was a tongue twister. Hey, Risa, how are you?
Hey, Art. Hello, everyone. Wow, thank you for that lovely introduction.
Oh, my pleasure. You look amazing as always. How are you this evening? Tell everybody about yourself and what you do, and then let's get this party started.
Well, thank you for that. No makeup Tuesday is what we're doing, so all natural. But I am
Really excited to be here and talk with you all about advancing leadership. Our vision is that people with disabilities will lead with power and influence, and that is exactly what you are doing, Michelle, and what you are doing, Alex. And so, I see my role is to elevate those stories and let our members and fellows be the voice of that power shift. And as someone who was born with a disability and had my disability journey be part of who I am for my entire life, has been really central to how I look at access to power and influence. So, let's get into it. Let's have a party, Art.
All right. Well, I want to find out who wants to be the interviewer. I'm always the interviewer. And so we kind of talked about why everybody applied and what was the reason. I guess I need to maybe share my story just a little bit. Being an African-American man, a proud gay Black African-American, man, just having a lot of disabilities. Mine are non-visible and acquired. Well, actually, I do have one that's visible, but it was a place of inclusion. It was a place of acceptance. It was all about meeting some of the best people ever who could offer you sound advice, who could point you in the right direction of whatever it is that you need or want to do to help you to be a much better leader. And I think the problem that African Americans face, and you said this so eloquently, Michelle, is that we don't want to be identified as disabled. If you're not blind, why would you consider yourself disabled? If you don't, if you have any other issues, why would you want to consider yourself that way? And when I found out non-visible and acquired was a part of that, I thought, what a great program. And I just think more and more people should embrace it. And I think more people of color should really embrace and become stronger. We're looking at a time now where everybody is fighting to be heard. Everybody wants to be meaningful in their life and in their mission. Well, this organization allows you to be meaningful in your mission. Wouldn't you agree, Alex?
Yes, it does. I'm sorry, I put myself on mute because I live with my little brother, and so it's we all have kind of found our own working space, but my working space is in my living room.
Don't worry.
But yes, that is right. I think that this opportunity has been really come at a really pivotal moment for me, and I'm more than happy to be a part of it and to represent as a 2020 fellow, to represent as a staff member, and I'm really excited to talk about that.
Yeah, and if I can just, can I jump in for 1 second? I think really, listening to you, Michelle, talk about your journey with your identity just in the last 8-9 months, which is an incredibly short amount of time, but I think that it's also reflective of the way in which we are changing the way that the disability community can be welcoming to people with diverse disabilities too. Recognizing that, yes, I'm a woman of color, but with a physical and visible disability means my story, my experiences are different than yours, Michelle, or yours, Alex, or yours, Art, but it's still, it's looking at our stories and our journeys with our disabilities as being part of what makes us unique and what is a valuable asset to what we bring to wherever we are in our roles. So, I just wanted to add that in because, it is so much stigma and othering, but also just reframing the way that we as a disability community also let people in, right? Advancing leadership is looking very broadly and intentionally about expanding the way that we see ourselves and how others see us with disability.
Risa, I think
co-sign. You said it better than I did.
Risa, what I think would be most important is to kind of give people a little background on how many people belong to the organization. I know so far there have been 6 classes of fellows who have gone through the program. And let's talk about some of the benefits of being a part of a network like this. Here, you guys, let me just kind of brag a little bit. Lawyers, doctors, engineers, movie producers, entertainers, you name it, it's people of all walks of life. And it's just a brother and sisterhood of one. And so, Risa, if you could share a little bit more about what people would find fascinating about this organization.
Sure. Yeah, we are a network of over 140 leaders with disabilities. All of us are leading with our disability identity. And again, that identity and that disability could be visible, invisible, acquired. But we are, like you said, Chat Gaddy, so many different places we come from, but we are community activists, nonprofit professionals, corporate employees. But really, the key that besides all of us having a disability identity is also all of us are wanting to make change and to bring about change. We look at our network as positive disruptors who are making change in the Chicago region. And so I hope that this opportunity could interest any and all of the listeners out there who are wondering, do I fit? I have a disability. Do I really want to be public with it? If you are, we want you to check us out, to apply, to learn more, because we believe that we should all be able to show up whole. And it's really important to look at how influence power can change that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We had someone that put a question up and they wanted to find out non-physical disability, acquired disability. For many of you all know that I was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. Matter of fact, news anchor Brad Johnson over at CBS2, he just revealed the other day that he also has a very rare form of leukemia and that he had to redefine who he was in his life. And as a result of me having this rare form of leukemia, I've had a lot of things to happen to me that were not there or did not exist prior to my diagnosis with cancer. And again, I thought, just another Black man who's been diagnosed with cancer, you got to get back to work, bruh. Put your big boy boots on and keep stepping. But believe it or not, the effect of the cancer, the treatment I went through, and the abuse of people not understanding me having a rare form of cancer has caused a lot of physical, mental, and spiritual things. And a lot of people don't realize when you're going through something like this, it's even spiritual. And so the one thing that I love about this organization is that you really do meet people who, those that were born with their disability. I find them to be some of the strongest people I've ever met. They take no jump. They don't. Hey, this is it. Let's move forward. Where a lot of times when you have acquired your disability, you want people to give you sympathy, and that's not what it's about. You want to take that pain and turn it into power. And I thank this organization for that opportunity.
And I was just going to ask all 3 of you, or all 4 of you really, like how, as Art was saying, how challenging has it been? Because I think that's something that always disturbs me, people that want to belittle someone's experience and not, value what they're trying to express and what they're telling you. So how challenging has it been?
I'll jump in there and speak to that, Dionne. For me, it is particularly challenging because, again, my illness is non-apparent. It's non-visible, right? So by looking at me, you would not know that I was a person who had a disability, right? And so, for example, when I'm out on the bus, if I take a seat in the priority section for people with disabilities or the elders, people give me the side eye and you don't look sick. Like, that's the number one challenge. People look at me and that's literally the first thing. Well, you don't look sick because my illness is non-apparent. It's not visible. And so that presents a particular challenge when your illness is non-apparent and people don't see it. You're less likely to be believed. You are more accused. You're more likely to be accused of, just looking for sympathy or over exaggerating or just seeking attention, things like that. So those are particular challenges. I know that people who have illnesses that are non-apparent that they have to face. That's a huge challenge.
Right. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, the public transportation thing is really a weird dynamic to have to navigate, and I get that. It's a lot of different things. People look at me, I'm a big tall guy, I'm a big guy, and people would never know. But then there are days when I physically cannot get out of bed because I'm riddled with pain. Pain is associated with anxiety, depression. So there are a lot of things that go on with this that people just don't understand. Before we continue with this, I do want to talk about African Americans. Michelle, you and I both know we ain't supposed to talk about our business outside the home. And that's the biggest problem. You know what I'm saying? And so how do we encourage more of our brothers and sisters to embrace who they are and their particular disability?
That's a difficult question because as I've been vocal about in the past, couple of months, that was the biggest challenge for me. And like you said, in a lot of Black households, it's like keep family business in the family, keep our business in the house. We don't talk about it. It's the same thing about, Black people don't do therapy, right? It's a challenge or a stigma for Black people to seek out therapy. It's the same thing with the disability. And I think that one of the biggest ways to get over that stigma is to talk about it, which can be hard, which can be difficult. It took me maybe about 2.5 years after my diagnosis to start talking about it. But here's what I found. It's a concept that one of my coaches refers to as the power of Me Too. Not the Harvey Weinstein Me Too, but a different Me Too. And what that concept means is when you start talking and sharing your story, there's going to inevitably be someone that you touch or that hears you, and they're going to find you and come up to you and say, me too. I had that experience too, or I have this particular challenge too. And then in the talking and in the transparency, that's how you build that community. That's how you build that support. That's how you start to normalize and, destigmatize talking about disability and let people know it's not a death sentence. It's not meaning something is wrong with you, or, you know what I mean? But you can still live and have a vibrant life. You're not less than. But I think communication and transparency is the key. But that can be a journey. It can take you time to get there. It certainly took me time to get there. But I think just having the conversation, just starting with your family members and branching out to your friends, and just over time, that circle of communication will grow. But I think it has to start there with just being bold and unafraid to start to have the conversation.
I love it. I do. Alex, do you want to add something else to this?
Yeah,
then
I think that
Risa and I bring it home.
yes. I mean, I think that a lot of what we do at Advancing Leadership is education, and thank you for that question. We define disability extremely broadly, visible, invisible, or acquired, like we've continued to say. And that is because we really want to root ourselves in that rights-bearing attitude. So thank you, Michelle, for talking about like the right to be able to sit in the section of the bus where you want to sit, because that is your right as a person with a disability. And so in the spirit of education, I do want to say that under the ADA, the definition of a disability is defined as a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities, or a person who has a history or record of such impairment, or someone who is perceived by others as having that impairment. So it's intentionally broad to protect and preserve the rights of the broadest amount of people. And I think that when coming into this community and like really being part of the fellowship, being part of just Advancing Leadership's family in general, has really instilled and reminded me of that rights-bearing attitude. to lead with power and influence.
I love it. I do. Risa, you know, you're the one that brings it all home. I'm just telling you guys now, for the next month or so, you'll be seeing me, hearing me. I'll be in you guys' face everywhere possible, talking to you about this. If any of you all have any questions or concerns, you know how to reach me. Some people may wonder, Chat Daddy, do you think I might qualify? Do you think I might, you know, please talk to me and I'll share my knowledge with you. Lisa, please tell them everything they need to know to be a part of this wonderful group. And I look forward to meeting everybody. I do, once we're out of this pandemic.
You and me both. You know, a couple of quick things. Dionne, you asked how challenging is it? And I think that's part of what Michelle and Alex both shared too. The challenge is really about society's expectations and discrimination of people with disabilities. That's the challenge. And so through that social model, we call it, of looking at disability, that's what Alex was talking about, bringing in that life-bearing attitude. So if you are a listener, a viewer, and you're like, I want to join, I have questions, I invite you to check out our website, 8825chicago.org/apply is where you'll find the application information. There's 2 opportunities out there. One to join as a 2021 fellow, and if you apply by September 25th, you're guaranteed an interview, and the final deadline is October 16th. This is a perfect opportunity for year-long engagement for emerging leaders with disabilities who have about 5 years of leadership experience in any context, so whether that's through your communities, at work, or other volunteer roles. If you are a leader who's already making change, you can join as a member. Applications are open year-round and are reviewed on a monthly basis. So I encourage you to check it out. Reach out to Chat Daddy with questions. Reach out to me, to Alex with questions. We're always happy to talk to you all and really get into any questions you have. And thank you so much for having us. We had a great time tonight.
Are you kidding me? We're family now. I feel like this is a family reunion. I feel like this is our family reunion Zoom call. I'm just glad to be here. Yes. Oh, glad to have you guys. Oh, are you kidding me? This has really made me proud in many ways. And I'm just so grateful. And again, when this first happened, I'm just like you, Michelle. What? Me? Are you kidding me? No. And got there, fell in love with everybody. And now I feel as if I'm really a part of just a wonderful group of people who are concerned about making change in the world in which we live in. And it's all about power and influence and under the name of disability. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible?
We feel the same about you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, ladies. Have a beautiful night. Risa, let's do that website one more time. I have it running across the ticker. Give us the website one more time, Risa.
8825chicago.org/apply.
Okay, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my wonderful friends, Michelle, Risa, and Alex. We represent 8825 Advancing Leadership, whether it's a fellow, ambassador, or a part of the executive management team, in 2021. Right, ladies?
For sure.
Absolutely.
All I'm getting is head bobbing. Yes. Well, God bless you all. Thank you for being here tonight. And I'll see you all soon, okay? Have a great night. Give it up for them. Dionne, didn't they do a good job? Good night. Thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful evening.
Yes.
Wasn't that great? That was excellent. It really was. 8825 chicago.org/apply. Get your applications in. If you guys have any questions of me, I'm more than happy to help you. If you want to know what the interview process is like, any of those things, I'll be able to tell you, and we'll, sit down and try to help you get in. Well, Dionne, you've been a great co-host so far, and we have one more segment that we're going to do tonight, but I want to remind everyone to tune into the Wednesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. For the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about teenagers and what's really going on in the minds of our teenagers. Well, tomorrow night, Chef Takana is back. And as you guys all know, she's been in the educational world for a number of years now as a dean of students, as a teacher. She just recently became this phenomenal super chef. But tomorrow night, she's bringing a group of young people by, and we're going to talk about what our young people are going through right now with the looting, the rioting, the shooting, Black Lives Matter, you name it. We're going to have a wonderful conversation with all young people tomorrow night about where they are and what their flow is all about. Isn't that how you say it, Dionne? What their flow is all about?
Yes, the flow. That's right. What
Their flow. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, Dionne Nicole Smith is our co-host this evening. She's been here with us 3 times now as a co-host, and she does a great job. And so not only is she beautiful, talented, and a great singer, but guess what? She has a real job as well, too. Who knew? Who knew?
Yes,
Honey, we thought superstars just do superstar things. We didn't know you had like a real job. And so, yes, do me a favor, tell everybody about your wonderful position. I'm so happy to be joining you on this great event that you're going to be doing. And we also have a wonderful guest that we're going to talk to in just a little bit. The floor is yours. Go right ahead.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, as Art said, I am the Director of Development for an incredible nonprofit called IMD Guest House. And we provide safe, affordable, temporary lodging for those that are dealing with treatment at our partner hospitals. And what I'm happy about this evening, because this is an evening that we're talking about giving back, we're talking about philanthropy, and just so that everybody knows, it is Black Philanthropy Month. So, you know, you don't have to wait until the end of the month to give back. If you want to give to my organization today, feel free. We'll be happy to make your contribution. But I'm excited to bring in and to have joining us this evening my colleague, Adam Hellman, who is the Executive Director of IMD Guest House. And I definitely want to talk to him, and I want him to share some information about why we're so valuable in the community, why people need to know who we are, and why people connect when they're going through, why they need us.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Adam Hellman. How are you, sir? Good evening.
I'm doing great. Good evening. And Chat Daddy, thank you so much for having me on the show tonight. Dionne, great to see you on the show as well. We're just so blessed to have had Dionne join our team earlier this year. She's just a terrific part of our organization. We're just so lucky that she works with us right now. So anyway,
and Adam, from what I understand, I have a fan in you. I understand you're a fan of mine now.
Yes, I am. I signed up. Well, you know, I started watching you when Dionne started being on the show. And so, you know, I watched the first couple episodes and I was like, oh, yeah, well, I can actually follow the Chat Daddy. I was like, that.
I love that. He loves
Adam, I appreciate you so much. Yes. So, Adam, do me a favor. Introduce us to this wonderful house and all of the amazing opportunities that are provided for families who are truly in need. Being a cancer survivor myself, I know how important it is to have refuge when you're going through a really troubling time in your life. So go right ahead. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. And it's my pleasure. So what IMD Guest House does, and Dionne kind of touched on it, is we provide temporary lodging for people when they're going through treatment, for patients, if they're outpatients, and their family members, or when somebody's in the hospital and their family members need to be near the hospital while they're going through treatment. And, you know, one of the things we probably never think about in this life is that medical crises hit almost all our families at some point. Art definitely have experience with it, and it's really hard to plan for that. They come up, they're emergencies for a reason, and a lot of times people don't know, well, where am I going to stay if I need to be near the hospital? Hospitals these days don't really want you staying in the hospital during treatment for a long period of time because people don't really get well in the hospital. Hospitals are great organizations and great places, but the hospital, if you're going to be going through chemotherapy, if you're going to have a transplant, if you're going to get bone marrow transplant for sickle cell, that's an important treatment. The hospital doesn't want you living in the hospital for weeks and weeks and weeks, but they want you very close by. And a lot of times we don't think about that. Like, how can I be close to the hospital? How can my family be close to the hospital? How can they help me? So what IMD Guest House does is we're located near a bunch of big hospitals in Chicago in the medical district, near University of Illinois, near Rush, near Stroger Hospital. And we also work with patients from University of Chicago Hospital. We have 47 apartments in our one building. We're at the corner of Polk and Damon. And the apartments are one bedroom, some two bedroom, but they all have a separate living room, separate kitchen, bathroom, and they all have Wi-Fi and cable. And we're really available to people for as long as they need us for treatment. So there's no minimum or maximum stay. And we're the only organization in Chicago that supports people of any age receiving any different type of treatment. And we never turn people away for financial reasons. There is a cost for those people who can pay, but if they can't, then we work it out with them so they can stay here anyway, because we're a nonprofit and we very much believe in the spirit that this show is about, which is giving back and giving to people. So that's a little bit about what we do.
I love it. I do. I think it's the most beautiful thing ever, because people do need someplace to be while they're going through this. I had friends who lived in Rantoul, Illinois, and their grandmother was very sick, and they were worried about how would they come back and forth and see the grandmother. And believe it or not, they were, recipients of your wonderful program. Dionne, I never told you this, but they bragged just, profusely about just how wonderful and great this was. Because again, we're in the city of Chicago, where a hotel room starts at $225 a night on just, the low end. Right. And so they were just saying how beautiful the place was and how they just felt as if they could be there for their grandmother during, her time of going through her treatment. And I just really appreciate everything that you guys do. So that's why I'm all in on however I can help and be a part of what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that, Art, that you mentioned that, because I think that's what's so important. One thing that, as Adam talked about our services, one thing that I think is important to share is that, a lot of our guests are from outside of the Chicago area. Like, we literally have guests from all over. Actually, 20% of our guests come from places around the nation and internationally. And how often can you say that when someone's coming from Mexico or Siberia even, and they actually have somewhere affordable to stay? It's such a comfort. And I think in this day and age, when you look at how medicine and how people are being treated, to know that you have a resource that's right there, that's willing to provide some assistance, and especially knowing that the majority, a good portion of our clients need some kind of financial assistance, that's huge. And I don't know if you can touch on that, Adam, a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, for people who can afford to pay, the maximum to stay here is $65 a night, but we provide assistance. About 3/4 of the service we provide includes some level of a discount on that rate. About half of the people who stay here are actually from low-income families. But sort of irrespective of whether you have a lot or whether you don't have much at all, when we talk about needing to stay someplace for weeks and weeks and weeks, and people who are going through treatment for some of these serious illnesses then just the ability, even, it's hard to afford staying at a hotel. Art, you talked about hotel prices in Chicago. And we're always happy to work with the families to find a way. In the last 5 years, we've worked with about 3,000 families. We've provided about 50,000 nights of service over that period. And we've paid or provided probably about $1.5 million or between $1.5 and $2 million in discounts to people so that they could stay here. So that's a really important part of what we do. A little bit about the hospital. I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead. You look like you were going to say.
I was just going to say, yeah, as you're talking about all of these nights of service and all of these people, I wanted to make sure that what you probably were about to touch on, our top points of diagnoses of the people. Although we definitely make sure that we support everyone, but I knew you were going to touch on, some of those plateaus of
Absolutely.
Diagnoses.
Absolutely. Yeah. Over time, our biggest medical group actually are cancer patients. Dionne said they come from this area, they come from the Midwest, they come from coast to coast, and they come from overseas. All of our hospital partners, Rush, UChicago, UI Health, and Stroger, will send us cancer patients. The biggest group of cancer patients typically come from Rush or UChicago, although we work with them from all hospitals. Another big group that we see are organ transplant patients. Oftentimes that's from the University of Illinois, UI Health. They have a very, very big transplant program there. This month is National Minority Donor Awareness Month, and that's for organ. And that's a really important thing. I know in the African American community, renal failure, kidney failure is a disproportionately big problem. Kidney disease is a big problem. And a large part of our guest population are people who are here for kidney transplants, either from a living donor or people who've been on the transplant list and an organ becomes available from a deceased donor. But that's a very, very big part of our group as well. And as I said, most of that is through UI Health, although we're actually open to transplant patients from any Chicago area hospital through a program with an organization called Gift of Hope, which is a partner of ours. Gift of Hope.
My friend Monica Fox and Jack over at Gift of Hope. Yes.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I
love Gift of Hope.
They're a great organization, and they help us with transplant programs. So, what else? We've talked about. I mentioned from University of Illinois. We also have sickle cell patients. University of Illinois has for 50 years been working on sickle cell and developing pioneering treatments for patients. We'll get people who are here for bone marrow transplants or stem cell transplants as a way to treat and even in some cases cure sickle cell. Who else do we have? From Stroger Hospital, we'll get people primarily here who are accident victims, injury victims, people who maybe got injured in Chicago and their family might live from out of town and need to be here. Sort of like the Rantoul family you were describing, but somebody who's unexpectedly injured. So we have those people who've had those experiences. We work a lot with children for our partner hospitals, not so much for the U of C. There's a great Ronald McDonald House at Comer Hospital at UChicago. But at Rush, UI Health, and Strudger, there is no Ronald McDonald in our area. And so another group that we'll have come in are moms who give birth to their children prematurely, difficult pregnancies, things like that. Children end up in what's called the neonatal ICU or the NICU. That's often we'll get those patients from all our partners here in Chicago in this area. And then just a completely different area that we work with too. One is for Rush, children with these rare neurological disorders. There's a doctor at Rush who provides treatment that nobody else in the nation or even in the world provides. So Dionne said we had patients from Siberia or Mexico. At the beginning of the COVID shutdown, we had some people stay with us, one from Siberia and one from Mexico, who brought their kids here, who the families were actually going to relocate here to Chicago so they could be near this one doctor at Rush. Dr. Elizabeth Berry Pravis, who's a terrific friend of the organization and practitioner. And then the final group I'll tell you about is veterans. And we work with veterans who are getting treated for PTSD at Rush. So Rush has a program called the Road Home Program, and it's for veterans who have experienced PTSD. It's open to veterans who served during any era. So, you know, we focus a great deal on veterans who served after 9/11, and that's a very important group, but we still have veterans alive who served in the Balkan War. We have veterans who served in Vietnam. We have veterans who served before that who are still with us and who still suffer from invisible wounds of war. And so we provide lodging for them while they're going through treatment. And that program is great because it's open to people who served during any era and for any kind of discharge. So sometimes you have to have an honorary discharge to be in a program like this. But the Road Home program welcomes people as long as they wear the uniform for a day. They count as a veteran for the Road Home standpoint. So anyway.
And I think that's amazing too, Adam, as you touched on all of these points. What I think is so amazing are for people to understand is that IMD Guest House supports people of any age. And I think there's not another organization in Chicago that has that service. We support any age, you know, infant to, you know, past 90, 80, whatever your age may be. But we take all ages, and that's so incredibly important because we know where would someone go when you are definitely dealing. And the reason why this organization got started in the first place was, you know, you had a family who unexpectedly had a situation, unexpectedly needed somewhere to stay. And that's how great ideas and organizations are born, right? When you have some kind of challenge and you don't know how you're going to meet it. And then you see, oh my goodness, there is a necessity here. There is a resource that is needed. And IMD Guest House is that resource that's so valuable in the community.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I want to
just had a couple of things real quick. We're talking about IMD Guest House. We have someone that's transcribing for us tonight. It stands for Illinois Medical District Guest House. And this is a place where people who are seeking medical treatment, families who may be from around the world, friends of mine from Rantoul, Illinois had to stay here when their grandmother was sick, but it's a safe haven for those that need somewhere to stay. It's Illinois Medical District Guest House, beautiful facility, and it's really an effort of love on behalf of this organization to be able to provide this for people. Go right ahead, Dionne, and we still have a film we need to watch or a little clip, right?
I was just going to ask you, and I was hoping because I logged on like you had told me to, but I'm not sure.
Honey, my show has no time limit, darling. We could be here till 10 o'clock. It's my bladder that goes out by 10 o'clock. It's my bladder. Right. Otherwise, look, otherwise we can talk all night. It's just I'm an old man with a bad bladder now, you know.
gosh. I think we want to get people focused, though. I think we will lose people if we're here all night. So we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We want people to focus on what we're telling them. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see the video or not. You tell me. I'm not sure if you can. Do I need
Well,
to
go ahead and try to do. I see the. You want to start it, and I do see it now. We try to be like the major news networks on this little show here. So if you put it on, if you put it on, we'll be able to put it on the screen.
Well, I'll tell you this. What I'm trying to show everyone who's watching the program tonight is I was trying to show a video of a former guest of ours, Chris Moore, who had a transplant. And I know Adam can give more detail behind his story, but I'm going to see if we can play a little bit of Chris's video. And I'm hoping that
oh my God, I think I might start crying because I might know who this is.
Oh my gosh, stop. Well, if that is the case, this is it's a big world, but it's very small. So let's see if we can, and I'm going to take this off of mute, and I'm going to see if we can
mute yourself so we don't have feedback, darling.
You said what?
Mute yourself so we don't have feedback.
Okay, I'm going to do that as soon as I.
I got you on my end.
All right, let's see if we can. Oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that's the feedback. Can you start it on the other computer and then just click and do it like that? Now I'll mute you on my end.
Okay, so I started it.
We're still looking at you, though.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I think we're gonna have to just let it.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Is Mr. Moore in Houston, Texas?
Yes, he is. Then you must.
Oh my gosh, Art. You do know him.
So here's the deal. We're going to actually redo this since I'm a part of this and helping you guys. And we're going to have Mr. Moore as a guest one night. So Dionne, you've got to re-co-host again. You've got to re-co-host again.
Well, I'm going to have to bring Adam back in too, because Adam, he knows Chris. So I'm going to have to bring him back in. But I say, Adam, can you just tell viewers exactly why Chris's story is so unique, why he would be a wonderful person to share his story?
Absolutely. Be glad to. So Chris is a nice guy. He loves to tell his story. And it's a really interesting one. He's from the far south side, and he'd had a couple of different health issues, and he found out he needed a kidney transplant. And because of some of his other health issues, he was going to have a hard time getting off the transplant list and actually qualifying for an organ. And he went to his high school football reunion, and Chris is African American, and he just told his story to one of his teammates. And I'm going to kind of talk about the ethnicities of the people because that's part of Chris's story, and he likes telling it too. So it was a white guy who Chris played football with, and he said, I wasn't that great friends with the guy, but he said, well, let's see if I could be your donor. And you think about what a generous thing that is to do. And so the guy actually was a match with Chris to donate his kidney, and that was at the University of Illinois. And they were all set. And then they found out that there was another family, and this was a Hispanic family, and the son needed a kidney, and the father wanted to donate to him, but unfortunately, the father was not a match for the son. Now, it turned out as a donor, the father could donate to Chris, and the guy who was going to donate to Chris could safely donate to the sun. And so they ended up having these 3 families brought together across racial and ethnic lines. And, University of Illinois is great for doing that kind of a program because they're willing to take on some of just higher risk and more challenging organ transplant patients. So Chris has this really unique story. He loves to tell it. He can tell it a lot better than I can. But and Art, if you know him, he's a character. He's always fun to talk with. He really is. He's actually a very talented singer too.
He is.
So,
I tell you, this world is so small.
We call him Big Shug. He is a talented singer. Chris started the open mic night at the Cotton Club. I've been knowing Chris for a long time. I know his son. I really do. So here's the deal. This will turn into a whole reunion on this show. And then this will be my extra push to get people to donate and to give. And look at how God just works things out. This is, I had no idea we were talking about the same person. Never in a million years until I just thought about it. And I said, oh my God.
Well, you know what? I love it. I'm grateful that it just worked itself out. And I think that's why you're so valuable to us. And we're so excited that you are going to be a part of our upcoming virtual fundraiser, virtual cocktail party. And we love Always Wins.
My cocktail mask.
Yay!
Wow. Little cocktails all over my mask.
I love it. We're excited to have everybody join us virtually, so you can come from across the globe and join us on October 8th. We want you to go and sign up. It's scrolled across the bottom, lovewins.givesmart.com, or you can go to our website, www.imdguesthouse.org. But it's going to be a really fun night where we're going to describe, and you're going to see videos of former guests. You're going to see videos of volunteers and people who are going to be there present with you as you're as you're engaging, as you're celebrating with us. We're working with Carnival. So we want you to be prepared. We want you to learn how to make a mojito and a cotton candy martini. And we want you to join us and toast the IMD Guest House and all the great work that we do. And one great thing about our event is we have a couple of special guests, including our very own Art Chad Daddy Sims. But we also have our fabulous local friend, Master Chef fan favorite, Tommy Walton, is going to be a part of the event. And he's going to, do something special for us. And then we have, another fan favorite, local, former Chicago Bear cornerback, Charles Peanut Tillman, and his wife, Jackie. They're going to be a part of the event as well. We're excited about that. But, what's great about Carnival's involvement with this event, because this is a fun way to get people interested in who we are. Registration is free. So that's why we want people to sign up now. You don't have to wait until October. You can sign up now and be a part of all of the news, the breaking news that happens from now to October. But Carnival has generously agreed that anybody that purchases the cocktail kits to go, the mojito kit to go, and the cotton candy martini kit to go, if you purchase it, between now and then, if you're having your weekly girls' night, little, Zoom cocktail happy hour, or you're having date night at home, you can test out your skills right now. And every kit that is purchased, Carnival is going to donate $10 to IMD Guest House. So we're so grateful to them for doing that. So we want people, all those that like a nice libation and a cocktail, we want you to go out to Carnival at any time during the week. Go to Carnival, order a cocktail kit, practice your skills, and then, when you're ready, you can go get another kit and join us October 8th. And then you can learn how to make it Adam's going to teach you. He's going to go to Carnival and teach you how to make a. What are you going to actually teach them, Adam?
I'm going to learn and teach how to make the cotton candy martini. So the kids come with everything you need to make either the cotton candy martini or the mojito, and they also include instructions. So you don't, as Dionne said, you don't have to wait for the event to enjoy these beverages, but you'll get the opportunity to see me learn how to make those drinks as well as demonstrate them at the event on October 8th, which is free to attend.
Yes, and we're gonna have a raffle and a silent auction. So we know it's free to sign up, but we're hoping that once you get in there, you'll be inspired by the amazing work that we do, and you will want to give. But right now, we want you to spread the word. We want hundreds and hundreds of people from across the country, not just Chicago, across the country, across the world to join us. And join Art. Art's going to be a fun part of the event. We're not going to tease you and tell you what he's going to do, but he's going to be a fun part of the event. So you have to come to see what he's going to do.
Yes. Well, I'm excited. As I said before, we're going to do a part 2 of this because I would love to have Chris Moore on his show for him to share his beautiful story, because it really is a beautiful story that needs to be heard, and that's what this show is all about. And just a week ago, I announced that I was leveling up my game and that I would be, of course, spokesperson, ambassador, whatever I could for as many organizations as possible, because people have been good to me. God has been good to me, and this is the best way I can give back during a pandemic, is providing my show as a platform and my gift and talent to help as many other people as possible, especially those who are suffering with any type of illness or those that have come through any type of illness. And that's, exactly what I want to do. So I thank you both for inviting me to be a part of this. And I'm excited. And just really, it's an honor and a pleasure to serve and help any way I possibly can.
And we thank
you so much, Art. Yeah.
We thank you. No, Adam. We thank you for joining us tonight and sharing a lot about our wonderful organization.
And look, Adam's a new fan. He gonna get carte blanche with me. Are you kidding me? He's a new fan.
See, I knew I should sign up. That's great.
I love it.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys so much. Dionne, my dear, tell everybody again the websites so we can connect everybody, and then we'll say goodnight to our good friend Adam, and then you and I'll close the show out.
Sure. So you can easily visit www.imdguesthouse.org, or definitely visit www.lovewins.givesmart.com, and that's the direct link so that you can sign up to be a part of our event. Again, it's a free event. Free event. How many times can you say that right now, that you can attend a free event and see people that you may love, that you're fans of, but also support a worthwhile organization that may affect you in the future. So we want you to join. And you can also text to give. So we have that information as well. Text to give. So Love Wins to 76278. I believe that's our number.
If not, somebody else named Love Win will end up with it. No, that is your number. That is your number. Somebody be like, I came up tonight. People donated. My name is Love Win. Right. My God.
I believe that's it. I have it burned in my brain right now. So I believe it's Love Win.
Very good. Well, Adam, I look forward to part 2 of this. And of course, I'm looking forward to the fundraiser. Okay.
Thanks so much. Great meeting you, Art. And thanks for including me on the show.
My pleasure. Adam, thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Hellman, Executive Director of the Illinois Medical District Guest House. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you here tonight, brother. Take care. And I look forward to our reunion with Chris Moore very soon.
Me too. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Adam.
All right. Thank you again. Well, Give Back Tuesday, baby. We did this the right way tonight, didn't we? Gave
Yes,
back
we
to
did.
ADA 25, who gave me my strength and my power.
Yes.
And now I'm a part of the family at the Illinois Medical District Guest House.
Yes,
And then
you
I actually
are.
know one of your star people. And so this has been a great show tonight, my love. It really has.
It really has. That's just nothing but the way it was supposed to be. Made that happen.
Yeah.
So thank you. I'm happy about that.
Yes, absolutely. Dionne, you always have such powerful things to say, just not only in your position there at the guest house, but just as a human being and in the world in which we're living in right now. Leave us some wisdom, darling, please. And if you just happen to want to sing a spiritual, then honey, I ain't gonna tell you not to, but go, I know you're at work, but go right ahead.
Well, I was gonna sing something I sang before because I feel like we almost need to hear it again constantly. Sometimes we lose hope. Sometimes it's just really hard for us to stay focused when things around us are in chaos. But I really hope that we can come together and realize and ask God to walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me while I'm on this pilgrim journey, Lord. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. So we hope that God will continue to cover us and walk with us.
Absolutely fabulous. Amen, my love. Great job as always. Well, you got another co-hosting gig, babe. You just walked right into it. That video didn't work and you ended up getting another gig, babe. See that?
Oh my
See
God. You are hilarious.
I love you, darling. I do. I really do.
I love you too.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my wonderful guest calls tonight, Miss Dionne Nicole Smith, all of our great guests, tonight has been Give Back Tuesday. Just think about both organizations we presented in front of you this evening. ADA 25, Advancing Leadership. I'm a 2019 fellow, and I'm currently an ambassador for the organization, which I'm very proud of. And you guys will be seeing and hearing me all over the place in the next couple of weeks. If you do have a disability, whether it's, an acquired disability, a non-visible or visible disability, and you want to talk to me about whether or not you would qualify to be a leader in the program, remember, we're looking for 5 years of leadership abilities, whether that's volunteer, whether that's on your job, you might be a business owner, whatever the case may be, and you now want to lead with purpose, power, and influence. I definitely want to talk to you and encourage you to become a 2021 fellow or becoming a member with our organization. It's a really great organization. And then last but not least, Illinois Medical District Guest House. It sounds like you should actually have a pool there and everything. It just sounds so fabulous.
Hey,
IMD Guest House.
Hey, can I say one thing? And I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Darling, go right ahead.
I forgot to say that with this event, it's an amazing opportunity for small businesses, those that are trying to get their name out there. We still have sponsorships available as low as $500. So maybe there is a small business out there that really wants to spread their light and to let people know across the world who they are. If you are interested, definitely go to that website. Sponsorship information is there, or you can go to imdguesthouse.org. Thank you, best friend Krista Holmes. That is my best friend, putting it in the in the chat box. Thank you very much for sharing that information. And if you're interested, I just think it's a wonderful opportunity. If you're interested in sharing a light on your business or organization, you can do that virtually speaking by being a sponsor. And again, it's low as $500 if you want to be a partner. So contact me if you want more information. Thank you. I'm done.
I just want to be a talk show host and a celebrity, babe. That's all I ever want to be.
Right.
That's all I ever wanted to be since I was in the sandbox as a little kid. You know, I was in kindergarten. No, let me interview you, teacher. Let me interview you.
I love it. And you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing because you're fabulous.
Thank you, darling. I love you. Well, on behalf of Dionne, Nicole Smith, and yours truly, Chat Daddy, it's been another wonderful evening. Tonight has been Give Back Tuesday. Do me a favor, go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show on YouTube. It does not take you guys long to do that. All you have to do is press the button. You won't be charged anything on your credit card. I won't come knocking at your door. You'll be supporting a brother who does a show from his home every night that tries to inform people on just some of the best things ever that we need to know about. We're all about love, happiness, and good energy. Also, do me a favor, go over to Facebook and go to the Real Chat Daddy Show on Facebook. Like that page there as well, too. And last but not least, stop by my website. It's really a wonderful website. You might even see your picture there, some of your favorite celebrities, whatever the case may be. Stop by therealchatdaddy.com. I was supposed to put the link up today for tonight's show. Oops, I got busy today, y'all. All right, but look, you see me as it goes anyway. You do.
Hey.
All right, Dionne, we out of here, baby. Let's start waving at people. Let's start waving. Let's start waving. All right, I'm gonna pop you out, Dionne. I love you.
Love
Keep
you.
waving. And we are out of here. TheRealChatDaddy.com. I love you guys so very much, and good night.